Open to Interpretation by Soldin. Chapter 1, only chapter. But two swift blows, the four rainbow dashes surrounding the cowering Fluttershy became but one, the real one, looking down at her friend with a pleasant smile. Yet the yellow-colored pony did not meet her friend with immediate gratitude, but the cheeky expression of uncertainty. Sure, before Fluttershy was the familiar, ravishing rainbow mane of her friend, the familiar, well-toned body of her friend, and the rarely seen but familiar sweet smile of her friend. Worry continued to linger in her mind. For all she knew, it could be simply a trick, a changeling in disguise, with a crafty plan in mind. Her time to deduce such things was over, once the grinning Rainbow Dash gently used her powerful forelegs to carry the worried Pegasus off the ground. As her closest and dearest friend, the athlete knew when her charmingly timid companion was troubled, and noticed the glimmers of doubt expressed in her shining teal bruises. Before lifting her off the ground, Rainbow had been smiling, but with a plan, a course of action that would remove all doubt from Fluttershy's mind. She beamed. The sighing Pegasus held her friend in her hers, brought the shy mare's face close to her, and kissed her on the nose. Yet what? As they moved apart, the soft peck removed all doubt, and gave both airborne ponies a matching smile. Their thoughts began to match as their minds wandered to the territory of the secret romantic relationship. Born from loving one another's foolhood, it was a secret to their friends that the two are alone. They will whisper sweet nothings to one another, and gaze longingly into each other's eyes. "I'm going to have to stop you there, Rare," Applejack interrupted with a hurried pace. Two ponies sat at one of the many small circular tables that were placed within the expansive and expensive lounge area. Seated next to each other on large cushiony chairs, they felt like paradise for one, but too soft as cushy for the other. They spoke with one another as the good friends they were. "I'm pretty sure Rainbow and Fluttershy aren't secretly dating," the orange surf pony, Applejack, said with her thick southern accent. "Well, I may have added in the part about being them in a relationship, but it would explain a lot. The rest of what I did see did occur." The white unicorn, Rarity, replied with a flick of her purple mane, and a slight giggle at the very thing she had witnessed. As said before, Applejack and Rarity were both seated at the same table within the lounge area. The lounging area to the living quarters guests of Canterlot Castle, to which they and the other bearers of the elements of harmony were permitted to stay. For tonight a wedding had been held of such esteem that the time was well into the night. The trip home would not have been quite as pleasant for ridding themselves of exhaustion. Instead, they were able to spend the night at the castle, allowing them to rest up before the trip back home to Ponyville. But with all the excitement of the day, many of the ponies did not feel like resting, and in the case of a certain upper-class appreciating unicorn, she felt like gossiping. Applejack was unfortunately the only friends of hers within the brightly lit room at the time. So which of the two found this most important incident is unknown. Thus forced into conversation. Said conversation, though eventually piqued the farmer's interest, and the most recent matter of gossip spewed with delight from the designer's mouth, got the apple pucker heavily engaged in conversing. "So you're saying, in the middle of our fight with the changelings, Rainbow went up and kissed Fluttershy?" Applejack asked a matter of clarification, her voice already tinged with doubt. Rarity did not speak with words, for she was currently sipping her tea. However, a nod and a hum were a good enough response. "Now that's just plumb ridiculous," Applejack stated bluntly. "How so?" Rarity asked as she levitated her teacup to his coaster. "I think the two of them would make a cute couple." "'Cause they might be together," Applejack said with a roll of her eyes. "Why in the hide would Rainbow up and kiss Fluttershy in the middle of a fight?" The unicorn did not reply straight away, nor look to Applejack. Instead, she thought for a moment, eyes drifting at first to the ceiling that shone like a floating paradise. But when that proved too painful, she settled on absently gazing around the many empty chairs the room held. "I didn't know. Perhaps it was a small expression of love that she let out in the heat of the moment." Rarity spoke with uncertainty. Then her eyes lit up as she spouted out her ensuing line of dialogue with enthusiasm. "Maybe Rainbow feared the worst, that this would be their end of days together. And before the end would come for us all, she was to let the pony who she had always held so dear to her know of her feelings, her caring, and her loving emotions. Rarity's dramatized explanation was met by an expression that held, "Really, Rarity? Really?" The desire coughed, pushed down her excitement for all things of a romantic nature. Yes, well, on the other hand, Rainbow is not your sort to consider an option nominee, was the flustered and continued response from the mayor. But regardless of what I think, the matter is, I did witness Rainbow Dash kissing Fluttershy. How could you explain that? Well, you see, I reckon that you thought you saw Rainbow kissing Fluttershy, Applejack explained, with one or two taps on the table, just to make sure she had her friend's attention. I'll say that their giggling couple up yonder is making you think Rainbow helping Fluttershy is some sort of romantic thing. Rarity raised a single brow, her extended eyelashes flickering, as she blinked a couple of times in puzzlement. There's a couple upstairs. Yeah, and one of the rooms two ponies are sweet-talking with one another. You can hear it through the walls. Applejack explained with disinterest, waving a hoof in the air at the whole thing. Point is, I reckon you think you saw the two of them kiss. Well, actually, the small group of Rainbow Dashers surrounded your encounter prey, who in the fight had laid their head on the ground, who was over it for protection, and I screwed her eyes shut. The four of them growled like starving damn dogs, and rose up on their hind legs to tower over the small pony. Fortunately for the three changelings among the Rainbow Dashes, one of them was the real deal. She couldn't help but grin as he bucked aside two of the shape-shifting creatures with one hind hoof, and smacked the sense out of the remaining one with a fiery uppercut. The silent athlete smiled at the moment of victory, and smiled as the sight of her friend being saved felt scared. As the kind knife between them, Dash grabbed hold of the peaceful mare before her, and lifted her out the ground. Briefly, their muzzles bumped, but luckily avoided the awkward situation of two close pals touching lips. The two Pegasus shared a smile, both glad to see the other okay. So you see, they never kissed, just looked like it. Applejack finished with a proud smirk on her face. Rarity was about to speak, but stopped, put her hoof to her chin in contemplation. While the unicorn was thinking her friend's idea over, putting in comparison what she remembered seeing, the Earth Pony took a much-needed sip of her beverage, now cool just enough to drink, but warm enough to enjoy. That's one way to look at it, I suppose. Rarity mused slowly, but then quickly stated, But I'm sure I saw Rainbow's lips meet Fluttershy's nose. Why, I even heard the sound of his boots. Now, what in the hell could you have heard them kiss? Got to mention, how did you see in the first place? You're fine alongside the rest of us. Applejack blurted out, a little louder than she wanted to. Of course I was disciplining those kittens with the rest of you. But it was while I was once heading along in the middle of a lady like scolding that my eyes came across Fluttershy about to be attacked. Rarity's voice wavered for a moment, but upon correcting herself, she continued with her usual flare of confidence. I was able to see the whole thing play out with any interference from the riffraff's little skeleton. And I saw the kiss, no doubt. The southern accented pony let out a small sound, a mixture between a disgruntled groan and an annoyed grunt. As she laid her hat on the table and put a hoof to her head in thought, eyes closed, the irritated pony tried to think of a line of reasoning that could persuade her friend into accepting what actually happened, rather than what it looked like. Look, going back to what I was saying earlier, it makes no sense for the two of them to get all romantic while all we're fighting. Right, and I agree with you that, dear. But it does seem a rather strange thing to do. But however, what I saw is what I saw. But knowing that makes no darn sense. That make it more likely for you to see things rather than what actually took place. Rarity paused in thought, considering Applejack's honest opinion. A few seconds passed in silence, with accession to the occasional tick of a clock, and the waiter was walking by, inspecting the lounge areas. After noting the two ladies' drinks still half full, he left. More ticking seconds passed. Perhaps, Rarity murmured, to which allowed Applejack to release a sigh. But I am quite proud of my visit, and I assure you there was a kiss. An orange-served pony face met the table, the cups on it popping up into the air, But luckily, even as they fell back down to their respective coasters, not dropping any of their contents. Lifting her head up, Applejack spoke with frustration. But there was no kiss! It was a trick in the eyes! And that does explain why you think there'd be a kiss when there was none. The pony was scanning her type of key and coaster, expecting it for any chinks or cracks caused by the apple bugger's head slam. When she heard Applejack's voice speak once more and perked up. I know that's what you think I saw, but as I said, I have quite a remarkable eyesight, and I will trust in what my 2 eyes bore witness to. Once again, the Earth Pony sighed. Once again, the Earth Pony was frustrated. So, she let out a frustrated sigh and sat her chin gently onto the table, though Rarity proceeded to magically lift up both drink containers just in case. The conversation had come to a halt, both believing different things and let their thoughts mingle on their own beliefs of the occurrence. Said thoughts were not said aloud, and contained in each pony's heads meant silence fall into the room, to whom only the 2 mares occupied. Brief noises were made, such as a sip of one's drink, but it wasn't until the clops of an approaching pony that sound resumed to the former conversation. Hello, girls. Guess none of you can sleep either? A noticeable purple unicorn reintroduced talking to the now 3 occupied area. Well, howdy, Twilight. Applejack replied, and Rarity replied as well, but was less country-style greeting. The element of magic walked closer and closer, until she was able to take a seat next to honesty and generosity. A smile as warm to her greeting present on her face. Looking between the colored and non-colored pony, Twilight waited for her question to be answered. When she did not receive one, she decided to ask again, more specifically, So, what's keeping you 2 girls up? Just an exciting day, really. Got my brain about active, and I don't have any apple trees to buck around these parts. How about you, Twi? Oh, me. Well, the unicorn began, unsure how to phrase the following, allowed herself a moment's pause. You know the 2 ponies that are in one of the guest rooms, or are whispering all those compliments to one another? Receiving a nod from the orange mare, Twilight continued. Well, what they're doing in their room I can hear, and I just couldn't get to sleep with them doing it. They're rusting their house in a heap of hay together? Applejack yelled out in shock. At first, the studious unicorn had no idea what her friend just said, taking almost half a minute to derive the meaning from it. What? No! They're just exchanging pet names with one another. Well, it doesn't sound all that bad. No, it doesn't. But hearing them call each other Nibbly Nibbly and Snuggy Wuggy for over the 10th time does. Then I, on the other hand, caught something quite shocking, and have been discussing it with Applejack here, Rarity said, obtaining an expression from Applejack that said, No place again. The fellow unicorn's curiosity was piqued by this, so pursued the subject further on. So, what's this shocking thing that's keeping you awake? You're not worried that there may be still some changelings around? Rarity let out a quick laugh before responding. Of course not, darling. That's the sort of thing I expect you to be stressing yourself over. Twilight in turn let out an embarrassed giggle, a hoof brushing back the head of her hair as Rarity went on to say, The thing that is keeping me awake is how I'm solving the doubts, kissing Fluttershy. Cue Twilight sparkled spit take, and the start of her mumbling out incoherent words, as she tried to speak out before her brain had time to process the information. Applejack had no such problem, and was adding more information on the subject. And I don't reckon it's just supposed to hooey. I don't reckon that Rarity here's letting those sweet talkers upstairs mess her memories. Put a little twist on another moment between friends. Man, I don't see how that's possible. I did not even know there was a couple in the castle quarters cherishing their time together until you told me. Wait. Hold on a second. Twilight Sparkle snapped out of her sting of overheating, and tried again to organize the incoming information heading her way. Rainbow Dash. Our Rainbow Dash kissed our Fluttershy? Yeah, our friends. Applejack answered, then turned to Rarity with an accusing glare. We're here's the space devil, baby, feel it foolers. Applejack, watch your tongue. Rarity was quick to cry out. Filling foolers is a derogatory terms. Lesbian mouse is the correct term. Anyway, Rare here claims he saw Rainbow up and kiss Fluttershy on the news. I'm pretty positive he just saw them bump another and, well, just think they were all affectionate. When did this happen? During our battle against those dreadful changelings. Rainbow Dash had just saved Fluttershy from a group of them when I saw her pick up her friend and swim a smile, and then mwah, give her a little kiss. And I'm telling you, Rainbow and Fluttershy aren't in any relationship. It would be stupid to try to get one in the middle of a fight. So what you're saying, what you saw, makes no sense. As the two friends began to bicker, as good friends are capable of doing, the other good friend of the trio began to think. From what second hidden puzzle pieces he had received, she got to work on fitting them together as best as she could fit them. Once she had a solid object formed in her head that utilized each and every puzzle piece, though one that looked like stone had been granted to piece by force, she allowed her could consciousness to return to reality. You just want them to be together so you can fit them into some weird couple dresses you designed. Though I admit it would be good for my business, that would also be quite a challenge. I mean, Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy. The outfits are best suited for them, you see contrasted quite a bit. Though, I suppose I could think of an idea for the two of them. Girls! Girls! Twilight calls for attention was recognized by the halt of speech, the two pairs of eyes that turned her way. From what I gather, you! Twilight emphasized the you as he looked to Rarity. Saw Rainbow Dash kiss Fluttershy on the nose as he was helping her up. And you! Another emphasis on the you, as the scholar turned towards the cow pony. Think Rarity mistook them bumping into each other for a kiss, because the two are not in a relationship, and it would be unlikely for them to start one in the middle of a fight. Am I right? The two nods for confirmation allowed Twilight to continue. Well then, I think you are both right. The two puzzled expressions followed suit, but the only pony who asked for clarification, as he was quicker in this instance, was Applejack, who asked, Wait a sec, Twi, how in the hell does that mug gain science? Oh, I'll explain. You see, what most likely happened and the reason for what happened goes something like this. Rainbow's cunning plan was working, although it required a significant amount of effort to restrain her grin as he proceeded to strut alongside her changeling doppelgangers. Usually, such subtle strategizing was outside her field of expertise. However, there happened to be a part of her that could not resist taking advantage of the flawed schemes of the shapeshifters. Luckily for her, limited patience did not have to indulge in the secretive incidents for long, and the group of unknowing changelings approached the cowering Pegasus. It pained her to see this pacific pony surrounded by the violent bustle of the ensuing brawl, and to see her scared as skins at the very sight of her. But Rainbow continued to play along with the fooled beasts, and so mirrored their snarling and threatening expressions, their lone timberwolf growling sounds, and the action of rearing up on their hind legs to project an image of superiority and might. It was then, when Fluttershy had screwed her eyes tight and feebly placed her hose in defiance, that the true Saiyan Pegasus struck out at the defenseless changelings. On their hind legs, they could do little to balance themselves, nor could they turn with the swiftness and agility that would be necessary to block Rainbow's oncoming surprise attack. The changelings soon fell to the Pegasus's quick wit and battle prowess, and a smile for the brief small victory adorned the mare's face. The enthusiastic athlete turned to her quivering companion, one who looked at her not with eyes of gratefulness, but ones of doubt and distrust. Seeing this did not dampen Rainbow's spirits, as her somewhat narrow but quick-witted mind formed up a plan to help prove her identity. Admittedly, it required the open exposure of a softer side, that she constantly tried to keep hidden away, but in the current scuffle she could not be picky. Besides, Fluttershy was her oldest and closest friend, one who knew of some of her more tender and feminine traits. Rainbow snapped up her yellow-coated friend, pulled her in close, and softly pecked her on the nose. He was caring, loving even, but done all in the name of friendship. This kind gesture worked its magic. Fluttershy's look of fear and despair that had grown deeper upon physical contact fleeted, and departed in order to be replaced with a small smile aimed towards her good time friend. Well, it's certainly not unheard of for a kiss in the face to be used as a form of greeting, but as a method of reassurance, I guess it makes sense. Rarity mused aloud, tones of acceptance and disappointment mingling with her voice. They'll seem a bit too effeminate for our Rainbow, but like we were saying, makes sense. Applejack debated this to herself aloud, as well, before turning to the wire unicorn, saying, Guess you might be right after all. Maybe they did just up a kiss. This don't mean they're in any relationship. Twilight is more than likely correct on this matter. Rarity's compliments earned a small smile of pride from the mentioned unicorn. But The praising unicorn's voice then came with a tone of disappointment. Such a shame. Izzy's brow raised at this last remark and asked, Why is such a shame that they're not a couple? Alas, simple Applejack. Love is a wonderful thing, as you have both seen for yourself tonight. And there were times for my two of my dear friends to feel such splendor together. Of course it would be a shameful not to be. Both Twilight and Applejack decided to think about the night, the wedding, and both the beauty and power of Love's shining armor Princess Cadence shared with one another. They felt its passionate and soothing energies as the shield spell banished Queen Chrysalis and her army of changelings. Elena witnessed the harmonic feelings that seemed to naturally flow from the royal couple when they were together. Their dance was one of peace, and their eyes had shone with looks of pure bliss. Now that you mention it, it would be pretty nice to be in love with some pony. Twilight spoke these thoughts aloud while Applejack chose to keep her thoughts to herself, finishing her breakfast as she thought about it. I wonder if that's what Spike feels when he's around Rarity. Well, darling, that depends. Rarity's response was met with such confusion from the other two ponies, so quickly started to explain. When two ponies are in love together, it just feels perfect. But if the feeling is not mutual or certified, there is a horrendous nightmare. Longing for another pony makes you feel like you're miles apart from them, even when you're right next to them. Sure, thinking about the other pony will warm your heart, but it also serves as a reminder that they do not love you back. And don't even get me started when your object of affection turns out to be a total jerk. I have personal experience with that. Wow, that sounds complicated. Twilight replied with a good amount of uncertainty. For while friendship had become her heavily studied forte, love and romance was something her mind had only ever lingered on in regards to Spike's affections for Rarity. Recently, her big brother Fulser. Never thought about love like figured out just bump into a stallion. We talk, later off, go on a date, and so on and so forth. Applejack partially mumbled as he placed down her now empty glass. Well, that is certainly one way to go about it, and I'm sure it prevents all kinds of stress, but it does dampen your chances. I suggest going out and looking for the right stallion every once in a while. And lose a day's work on the farm over it? No. Besides, that ain't going to improve he'll change his moods. The farmer retorted in a friendly manner, pleased at least with the gesture. True, but every little thing helps, Rarity said before turning to the other bachelorette sitting at the table. How about you, Twilight? I'm sure seeing your brother Red has caught you in the mood for attaining some romance in your life. It has passed my mind, but I haven't even read up on it, so I had to pass. Sorry. The studious mayor explained with a blush that grew as her two friends responded with poorly hidden giggles. Now, Twilight, reading some book isn't going to help you much in that department. Applejack mustered the words out through escaped chortles. Yes, dear. What really helps is first health experience, the designer added, their small laughs better shadowed than now the apple lovers. I can get rid of that, hollered a familiar echo voice. The trio of brightly colored ponies spun in their seats, went to and fro in confusion. What? I'm surprised you haven't done a Flash stretchy gag. I would, but Flash is right now crying. Their love is so beautiful! They knew who the owner of the voice was, just not where the owner of the voice was. 3 entryways to their room existed, and no pony had been through them since twilight earlier. Hi! A pig pony playfully greeted her friends as she jumped out the suddenly underneath table, and now startled elements of magic, honesty, and generosity were seated. Pinky! How did you get underneath the table without us noting? Twilight screamed in astonishment, a little louder to attendant. I was playing to pretend to be a ninja game, Nin. Ninja Pinky said with her usual bouncing enthusiasm. But that still doesn't explain how you got into the room and underneath the table with the 3 of us sitting at it. Twilight quizzed her friend, with a now curious tone and control-level volume. When did you get underneath the table? About 5 minutes ago. Sorry, Twilight. A good magician never reveals her secrets. Piggy the magician told her friend with a minute traces of guilt seeping to her voice. I thought you were a ninja. I was, and then I became a magician, and now I'm a gossip girl. Piggy said with mirth and excitement. Like, did you know these 2 lovey-dovey ponies I walked in on, and they were really, totally cuddling and whispering nice things to each other? Yes, dear, we know, Rarity said. Yeah, and one of them was even nibbling the other's ear, like this. Piggy sits over to Twilight, grabbed her by the shoulders, pinned her to a spot, leaned over, and then gently built her ear. Twilight yelped with, well, she felt quite a few emotions and sensations at that point. Pinky started nibbling on her ear, and having the pink mare's lips rub against the rim of said ear, so it was hard to say. All the same, she was stunned. Flush Mare yelped. After a few seconds of this, the unicorn activated her magic and carefully pried the innocent pony away from her and now drools by her ear. The Pinkie Pie! Don't do that. It isn't nice. The hot-faced mare blurted out as she continued to hold her friend off with a light magical force. Sorry, Twilight. I was just showing you what I saw the happy couple doing, and you weren't doing it, and you also do it, doing it. Twilight began to blush even brighter at this accurate statement, while Pinkie Pie turned to her other friends and asked, So, what were you two guys talking about before? Was it about parties? Or the wedding? Or how you can't wait for your birthdays because of the awesome birthday present I got for you, but I'm unable to tell you because even though I really, really want to? Oh, no, dear. We were talking about, Though she was familiar enough with her dessert wandering companion to be able to catch each and every rapid-fire word that spewed from her mouth, she was still unsure as she used to inform the pony of their previous topic. So she saw a look at Applejack that pleaded for advice. The stiletto-wearing pony gave a small nod, deciding to take up the role of informer. Well, Blinky, Rarity thought she saw Rainbow Dash giving Fluttershy a kiss on the nose in the middle of our fight with them changelings. And she was wondering why they do that, and we've been discussing it. It was unexpected, and a little freaky that no response came from Pinky, as she simply stood still, looking back with her usual wide eyes and her usual happy smile, wagging her puffy tail like a dog. Yes, I decided that one or both of them must have romantic feelings for another, for such an attack to occur. Lost Applejack here accused me of seeing things, Rarity explained, attempting to rid her tone of voice of any hint of offense. But alas, Twilight here offered a satisfying explanation for the sudden kiss. That Rainbow was both comforting Fluttershy and proving she was not a changeling. Piggy's eyes suddenly lit up, dancing up and down, shouting out, can I tell you my version? Shh! The trio of ponies hushed their friend to be quiet, while Applejack continued to remain their friend. Blinky, probably a little quieter. I imagine some of them ponies out there would have hit the hay by now. Oh, sorry. Can I tell you my version now? Pinky whispered, taking the advice to quiet down a tad far. Did you see the two of them? Twilight asked, and when Pinky replied with a shake of her head, Twilight decided to answer Pinky's question. Well, it wouldn't hurt to hear another theory on the event. Go ahead, Pinky. All right, then. You see, what must have happened is we were awarded the changelings who had invaded Canterlot. It was kind of like a party, except all the guests were trying to kill you. Anyway, the changelings were upon us, and I was bringing on down with this one changeling. It was a really nice fella, considering he was supposed to be attacking me. He kept on transforming over and over again, and I decided he didn't even do me. But that's not what was important now, or back then. Whatever. What I shall be telling you is that Rainbow Dash, who was being all stealthy like hiding under the cardboard box's little self. So, she had tricked these changelings, pretending to be her. She was marching along with them when they came across Fluttershy. Isn't Fluttershy so nice? The changelings are trying to beat her up, and she still doesn't want to hurt them. Well, these meanies were going to attack Fluttershy. But what if it wasn't a meanie? One of them was Rainbow Dash! And she was all biff and pow! And the changelings were down. So, Rainbow Dash beat the changelings, strolled up to Fluttershy, and was all like, Fluttershy, can't move bloom on the battlefield. And Fluttershy must realize this. I can't wait any longer. Take me! Take me! Because she had this really desperate look on her face, and she really needed to go potty really bad. So, Rainbow picked Fluttershy up, and they got lips and began humming like sounds, and their tongues touched, and they wiggled them, and they were like roar, roar. The crusty proceeded to, Pinky! Stop! Stop! Applejack's shout put a stop to the high-speed chattering that filled the room with noise. Not with a force of volume, but mastery protection. With lack of sound, each other's noises resumed their dull, monotonous schedules of ticking and clicking. The lights saddened into departure of such cheer, and dulled than one could argue, so he relaxed after the excitement of Rarity, spewing from the ears he print Pinkie Pie. No fear, Applejack. You told me off for shouting earlier. Italian Pinky retorted, frowning, and disturbed counterpoint. Sir, I wasn't talking about two of our friends. two mayors doing something. Well, play it. That was exploded by loud volume. But this time, not enough volume to consider it a shout. Yeah, that was a little much. Twilight murmured over her overheated library of a brain, the blazing books producing heat that transferred as a flushed face. Meanwhile, the other unicorn, to help her better process Pinky's alternative viewpoint, decided to magically raise her fine-china teacup and take a few sips of tea of her warm beverage. Her cheeks puffed up with tea unswallowed. It was a look of disgust that forced her drink down. As the unicorn tried to continue resuming her composure in front of her friends, Applejack noted, "I reckon that tea of yours will be cold by now." Twilight had begun to reason with Pinky. It must have seemed late as the first conversation of the night between Rarity and Applejack went. Both ponies and stubborn signs began to show. Tones of annoyance and defiance crept into their voices, but not once did malice or hate. It was a small argument, natural among good friends, and only came to a close after Pinky gave one last comment via an outburst. "But it's the only possible explanation for why Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash are sweet-talking with one another, exchanging pet names, and cuddling each other while occasionally nipping on each other's ears playfully up in that room." After moments of silence, Pinky continued, "Actually, I better go back up there and apologize again for walking in on them. Good night, guys!" Each of Pinky's spring-like steps made sounds unlike any other living creature that would be dearly missed. When they were out of ear reach, it could no longer be heard, an uncomfortable silence dawned. The silence was not a complete one, but the additional sounds of the ticking grandfather clock, the odd footsteps on the floor above, clanking of cutlery in the kitchen, and the batting of eyelids only made the mood more eerie. As time passed, the silence became more and more stifling. The three inhabitants of the room overturned, and unfocused minds into upcoming with something to say. "So," Rarity began slowly, as he pondered on what she could say to dispel the mood. "Which one of you do you think is Nippity Rippity?" Rainbow Dash. Review. Strangely enough, without presenting Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy, this is perfectly in character of how our main six would analyze and deduce a situation. And interestingly enough, this is the way the audience would deduce and diffuse a situation, by taking different sides and different views and looking at a particular scene. This is just fandom for you, and the mind of a shipper in general. Taking the subtle clues and subtle hints and drawing your own conclusions. Sometimes it can work out well, and you can come up with something great, like Flutter Dash for me. Sometimes it can't work. How it works and how it doesn't all depends on the viewer. Do you think Rainbow Dash and Twilight work well? Well then, draw your own conclusions. All I ask is that you do remember to keep them in character. For me, I do feel like this does work, because I do like the couple. In case you haven't guessed from how many fics of Flutter Dash I've done so far. And I do enjoy moments like this, and that little scene was sweet. But overall, this was still a fun, short fic. With a great ending that left you all surprised. And for my money, it was so obviously a kiss. I mean, you heard it. It didn't look like they were kissing. I mean, come on. Have you seen the screenshot? Those two were obviously kissing each other out. And furthermore, Dicky. Yes, Trixie? I think martial art for users is going to be at this rate for 30 minutes, so you might as well do the preview of the next story. My name is Dinky Doo. About a year ago, my mom started the shipping and handling company. She took a job there. This company was meant to bring ponies together. It was during this that I discovered my special talent, which was magic. Twilight decided to teach me how to use it and enroll me in Celestia School of Unicorns. And starting tomorrow, I will start my first date. I'm so happy to be there. I wonder what type of ponies I'll see. I hope the ponies there will like me, because I know I'll like them. Well, talk to you all later. Bye! Your friend, Kiki 2. Coming up next, Hocus Pocus. See you then.